Hello and welcome to this Level 1 Construction Qualification Changes presentation. As part of this session, we're going to cover why we've made the changes to our construction qualifications at Level 1, the revised unit layout that we've put forward, Level 1 qualification structures, unit content, assessment, and support materials. So first of all, why? Well, we've decided to review our construction training qualification offer at Entry 3, Level 1 and Level 2. We carried out a full review of these qualifications, and this has given us the opportunity to standardise the terminology across the suite. It's also allowed us to introduce clear progression routes from one level to another, and also from award to certificate to diploma where applicable. We've introduced a new unit design, which I'll come to later, and we feel that this new unit design helps us provide more guidance to centres to help deliver the qualifications. We've also tweaked and revised the assessment methods for the units and for the qualifications. Please note, at this stage, these changes do only apply to the core trades, but in time we do hope to broaden the revision out to the rest of the offer. Revised unit layout. So, as I mentioned, we've slightly changed the approach that we've taken to writing our units for these qualifications. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a health and safety and construction unit. Now, a lot of this will be very familiar to those who already deliver qualifications, because you've got your title, aim, level, credit value, GLH, etc. However, it's when we come to the bottom section of this where things change a little. You'll see there Learning Outcome 1, know about legislation and organisational policies and procedures related to health and safety. So far, so normal. However, when you look down to the next section, Delivery Content, you'll notice that there aren't any assessment criteria, or certainly not any assessment criteria numbered in the way that they would have been previously, 1.1, 1.2, etc. Here we've gone for a bulleted approach. The reason being is previously when we developed qualifications on the QCF, the Qualification Credit Framework, we were stuck to this rigid formula of using numbered LOs and ACs. The Regulated Qualification Framework allows us as awarding organisations a little bit more flexibility when we're writing our qualification content. We feel that this method lends itself better to these qualifications as it allows us to be clearer with what exactly it is we expect learners to cover for each learning outcome. As you can see, under the Learners Must part, the first bullet point, know the main legislation relevant to manual trades. Main legislation is emboldened here, as is standard documentation on the third bullet. The reason for this is we've got a section at the end of each unit where we expand on what we expect to be covered by these terms. Continuing on the revised unit layout, we've got the Scope of Training and Assessment section. So this section comes at the end of each unit after all the learning outcomes and bulleted assessment criteria. And the intention of this section is to provide further clarity on what's expected from a learner who completes the unit. So as you can see in this example, we've got 3 short paragraphs that are a summary of what we would expect any learner who's just completed the Level 1 Health and Safety unit to know and to be able to do. And below that, we've got the bulleted words from the previous slide, main legislation and standard documentation, and an expansion of what we expect to be covered. Just a quick note on those. all those bullets in bold in these must be covered, and the ones that aren't in bold can be covered, but it's not mandatory. Those are there for additional stretch and challenge. New training suite structure. So this slide at first looks a little bit complicated, but let me break it down. What it is it shows three levels that we're operating at. So the two columns on the left are entry 3, third and fourth column are level 1, and then the fourth and fifth column are level 2. Across the bottom we've got the awards, and then moving up we've got certificates, then diplomas and extended diplomas. So you can see at entry 3 we're going to offer an award and a certificate. Moving up to level 1 we're offering awards, certificates and diplomas, and then at level 2 we've got diplomas and extended diplomas. I should also point out that at level 1 there's a certificate and an extended certificate, but we'll go into this more later. There's also a box here explaining the focus of each level. So entry 3 is an introduction to the industry and trades with a mixture of knowledge and basic practical skills. Then at level 1, the focus of this presentation, there's more of a focus on practical skills, practical assessments, with a common core of units and more optional units to choose from. Moving on to level 2, which will be covered in a separate webinar, we've got practical skills, practical assessments, the assessment of applied knowledge, more trade-specific units, more optional units, and updated content. So zooming in now on the level 1 section, because that's what's relevant for today, we've got the awards, certificates, and diplomas. As you can see on the left, we've got multi-skills. So multi-skills will be available at level 1 as an award, certificate, extended certificate, and a diploma. And then we've got the construction trades, bricklaying, carpentry, painting and decorating, tiling and plastering, and that's available as an award, certificate, extended certificate, and diploma as well. So again, we're offering that progression. So if you've got a learner who maybe you thought after the initial assessment was only going to complete an award or a certificate, there's always that opportunity to complete some additional learning and get them an extended certificate or a diploma, or jump from an award to a certificate. Similarly, you might have some learners who you thought were going to be completing a certificate, but for one reason or another, they've just not had the chance to complete all the relevant units, but there's still the opportunity to certificate them on an award. Level 1 qualifications. So what qualifications do we offer at level 1? There's going to be a generic qualification. So that's a level 1 award in construction. So that's a short award, which is knowledge only, which covers health and safety in construction and an overview of the construction industry itself. Both those units, like I say, are knowledge, and both will be assessed by multiple choice tests. Then moving on to trade-specific qualifications, we've got bricklaying, carpentry, painting, decorating, plastering, and tiling. Again, those are available as awards, certificates, extended certificates, and diplomas. And again, multi-skills, similar, award, certificate, diploma, extended diploma. So just looking at the level 1 award in construction, the knowledge qualification I've just mentioned, it's made up as follows. So again, health and safety in construction and the construction industry are the two mandatory units, both assessed by a multiple choice test with credit values of 5 and 50 TQT each. There will also be some learning resources such as a presentation which centres can use to help deliver the knowledge required to complete these units. More on that later. Moving on now to look at the trade-specific qualifications. So I've taken bricklaying as our example for this presentation today, but this can basically be swapped out for any of the other core trades. Looking here at the award and certificate in bricklaying, you've got the level 1 award at the top, so you would do the health and safety and construction knowledge unit, which is assessed by multiple choice test, and then you do a bricklaying skills practical unit, and that's assessed by a practical. Completing those two units, that mixture of knowledge and practical, would gain a learner the level 1 award in bricklaying. Learners wishing to complete a level 1 certificate in bricklaying would then complete an additional unit, which is expanding bricklaying skills. So essentially the bricklaying skills unit would ask the learners to complete 2 bricklaying tasks, whereas the expanding bricklaying skills would ask them to complete 2 additional bricklaying tasks. So they would complete 2 in bricklaying skills and 2 in expanding bricklaying skills. This would give them the required credits or guided learning hours to complete the certificate. So then moving on from the certificate to the extended certificate and diploma. The extended certificate is the units that the learner would complete for the certificate that we've just covered. So the health and safety, bricklaying and expanding bricklaying, plus 8 additional credits from the optional unit bank. And that unit bank is here on your screen. Please note that there may be a few tweaks made to this unit bank between now and the launch of the qualifications. Anything on there will stay on there, but there may be 1 or 2 additional optional units as well. So completing those 8 additional credits would take the learner up to 26 credits and gain them the extended certificate in bricklaying. Learners wishing to go on to complete a diploma would do the certificate, again, health and safety, bricklaying and expanding bricklaying skills, plus 22 additional credits from this optional unit bank. That would give them 40 credits in total, and that would take them up to the diploma. Again, this bricklaying is just the example we're using today for level 1, and this can be swapped out for the other trades. So just quickly looking at the 2 core units for bricklaying, because these units will be completed regardless whether the learner completed the award certificate, extended certificate or diploma. So health and safety and construction, that unit is common across all the different pathways or qualification trades. So it covers risk and hazard, health and safety communication, protective measures, own and employer's responsibilities, housekeeping and hygiene. And then with bricklaying skills and the other trade units will follow the same formula. We've got setting out, build basic brickwork structures, work safely and communicate effectively, and clean and store tools, equipment, and the work area. So now that we've covered the units, we'll have a quick look at assessment. So how are we going to assess all these units? Well, the assessment's going to take several forms. Mostly, we're going to focus on practical assessment at level 1, and even more so at level 2. There'll be some portfolio of evidence for some of the knowledge-based units, and as I've mentioned a few times, there'll be a multiple choice assessment for the health and safety and the construction industry knowledge units. I also mentioned briefly that we would have PowerPoint presentations available as an optional resource. These cover the content for health and safety and construction industry units. They aren't mandatory and they are intended as support material only, but they should help prepare your learners for the multiple choice tests at the end. And they're also editable, so tutors can take ownership of them and adapt them to their individual learner cohorts. We're also busy producing a lot of sample practical assessments. So I've got an example of one of the brickwork ones here. So these sample practical assessments cover a selection of practical trade tasks, and they're all set by us at NOCN. These are internally assessed, and centres can continue with their current IQA, EQA processes. There are 10 short answer knowledge questions at the end of each of these sample practical assessments, with the idea being just to test the learner's knowledge to back up their practical ability. Support materials for this knowledge are also being developed. So, some of you will possibly recognize some of these drawings, but essentially what we've got here, digging into the sample assessment pack, is a brief which explains what the task is, an assessment section which explains what is being assessed, and that's laid out nice and clearly in bullet points for the planning, the brickwork, and the completed task, and also drawings again to illustrate the task. Moving on to the next page, we've got a tools and equipment requirements section. So this gives the learners the opportunity to list the tools and equipment they'll need to build the wall that they have to build in this one. Materials, so this gives them the chance to work out the number of bricks that they need. And then a hazards and risks section, just to reinforce the importance of health and safety. Now looking at these 3 pages, we've got the marking sheets. These ensure that all criteria have been met, and these are very useful for IQ and EQA purposes. We've got our short answer knowledge questions. So again, I did mention there would be 10 short answer knowledge questions at the end of each sample assessment. And these reinforce the knowledge that backs up the practical skills. And then we've got a review section, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and what went well, areas for improvement, etc. Rollout. So these qualifications will go live on the 1st of August and they're ready to teach from September 2020. They will run in parallel with their existing training qualifications offer for the first year up until August-September 2021. And please note that Level 2 webinars will be held on the 19th and 21st of May. And those will also be saved and available on the NOCN website. Thanks very much for your time and for listening. If you've got any questions, please do get in touch.